Hi, I'm Brian Winslade, the Deputy Secretary General for the World Evangelical Alliance, and it's my privilege to introduce you to my good friend Hanok, who's one of the leading pastors in Nepal. And as a movement, we've been engaged in a particular project to support what's going on there in Nepal with respect to COVID-19. Tell us, to start with, Hanok, a little bit about the NCF.
NCFN in short form, National Churches Fellowship of Nepal. This is the first umbrella Christian alliance started in 1960.
The church growth in the story of Nepal is simply breathtaking. From what you mentioned back in 1950 or thereabouts, it was only a handful of believers. But today it's a thriving church that's been described as the fastest growing church in the world.
Oh yes, it is. And both NCS, NCFN, we combining together, we are representing, that I'm representing here, maybe 13,000 plus churches in Nepal.
Right.
And that's our privilege. And it's not us, it's God is doing unprecedented things, incredible things in the lives of people.
And the history of persecution in Nepal over the years has been quite profound also. I mean, going back a few decades, it was very severe. I have known people who spent time in prison for preaching the gospel in Nepal. But in more recent years, there's also a challenge where the ruling government have kind of tried to stop you from preaching the gospel. Is that correct?
Yes, you are right. Church of Nepal has not been living in an easy way. They always have been facing one way, the other way, kind of persecution, legally, constitutionally, socially, racially, and even in the matter of gender issues.
Talk to us, Hanok, about the effect of COVID, this third wave that's been sweeping through Nepal, and particularly in the villages.
There are people still in hospital beds. Some are still struggling, and the other thing is post-COVID impact have been impacting the lives of people who already had the COVID. So this is another new thing. So people believe this may be the third wave surging again.
Right.
So,
as you know, I had a very good friend, pastor of a significant church, and he succumbed and died. Are there other stories that you can tell of pastors particularly succumbing to COVID and the impact of this on the church?
Pastor Robert Karthak, I think he came in Nepal 1954 or 56, long time. He's our patriarch, well known, well respected, pastor, not nationally, but internationally. He has been the father of the church in Nepal. And saying goodbye to him was, it's a heavy-heartedly I'm saying this. We are losing someone who have been the pillar of the church in Nepal for decades, for 65, 64 years. But on the other hand, there are some churches, like in Province 6, I have seen the pictures of Brother Lok Bahadur and Amar Fauza. And the son died a week ago, and the father died of COVID after 1 week. And this is another hit. And the husband and wife died in Bardia, province number 5, and the father. This means completely children left in an orphan situation.
But we've been, as a World Evangelical Alliance, pleased to promote the issues that you're facing in Nepal, and money's coming in, which we're really delighted about. How will money that's been donated be a help to the ministry of the church in Nepal?
We do have a team of people It's a DRS, and Disaster Relief Management Team. It's a registered NGO with the government. And we have a people representative from NCF and NCS. So we will decide together which fund should go where. But we have prioritized number one priority, number two, number three. People who lost, mainly in the priority list, those pastors' family who doesn't have income sources, who have lost completely income sources. So they will be our primary beneficiary of the fund. And pastors who are still getting treatment, so they will be there, because several pastors died when they heard the cost of treatment in hospital. Several had to come back from the hospital gate because they couldn't afford the cost to be inside the hospital. And there was a scarcity of oxygen. You know the problem, when sick people is getting oxygen and the electricity goes off and on. For an ordinary, people who are living in a ventilator or ICU, sometimes electricity goes off 1 hour, an hour, 30 minutes, 90 minutes. What happens? Many people died of just like that. So we are trying to prioritize these kinds of pastors in the category of beneficiary list.
Yeah, well, I just want to assure you, brother, that the rest of the body of Christ around the world is praying with you, and we're putting our hands in our pocket for you. Okay. And somewhat like what we read in the New Testament and the book of Acts, when there was a famine in Judea, and the Apostle Paul encouraged other churches around the world of the time to support what the Jerusalem church was doing. And that to me is a sense of what we're doing here today as well. We're standing with you as the body of Christ around the world. Is there anything you'd like to say to those who are actually making donations towards the special appeal fund for Nepal?
Well, representing thousands of beneficiary families, individual members, and the pastors in particular, I'm just thanking you from the very bottom of my heart, board members of NCFN and everybody, how grateful we are, how thankful we are for standing with for holding our hands.
So my encouragement to those who are watching this from different parts of the world, it's not too late to make a contribution to our special fund. We really encourage you to do that, whether it's a little or a lot. It's going to a great opportunity for the church to be the church and to show forth God's love and mercy.